Go.
Hi everyone, I hope you're all doing well and staying healthy. This week's Parsha is Parshat Beshalach. I was reading my siddur this week, right? In the bottom of the commentary is very nice. And I saw this story it really stuck with me, and when I thought about it a little bit more, it has such relevance to this week's Parsha. So, the story goes as follows. One night, I dreamed I was walking on the beach with God. I saw many scenes from my life flash across the sky. In each scene, I noticed footprints in the sand. Sometimes there were 2 sets of footprints, and other times there was only 1. This bothered me because I noticed that during the low periods of my life, when I was suffering from anguish, sorrow, or defeat, I could only see 1 set of footprints. So I said to God, "You promised me that if I followed you, you would walk with me always. But I have noticed that during the most trying periods of my life, there has only been 1 set of footprints in the sand. Why, when I have needed you the most, you have not been there for me?" God replied, "The years when you have seen only 1 set of footprints, my child, is when I carried you." So it's a very powerful message, saying that in times of suffering, anguish, defeat, when you only see that, we have it even Corona, in times of the Holocaust. They said, "Where's God?" Right? Really, the set of footprints that you see is God's, right? God is carrying you through it. Otherwise, you won't be able to get through it. And how does this relate to this week's Parsha? Right, we see, everyone knows about the cloud and the pillar of fire that Hashem put to guide the Jewish people during the day and night, in the desert. And when it's introduced in this week's Parsha, Rashi brings a mashal, a parable, to explain what this fire and what this cloud, what the deeper meaning really is. So he said it's just like when a father and a son go on a road trip, right? And they're walking, this is before we had cars, they're walking, and a group of bandits come up from behind them, right? And what does the father do? He takes his son from behind him and moves him in front of him. He's protecting his son. And later in their road trip, right, a pack of wolves come from in front of them. So what does the father do? He takes his son and puts him behind him. So just like this is exactly what Hashem is doing with Bnei Yisrael in the desert. He's actually carrying them, like we said in the story, right? And not only is Hashem actually carrying them, the Jews are actually seeing their footprints in the sand, right? So it works out perfectly with the story. They're saying in times of anguish, defeat, difficult times when they're being chased by the Egyptians, Hashem's actually carrying them, right? And the footprints that they're seeing in the sand are Hashem's. But there's only one problem with this. In this week's Parsha, in the next parak, they're already like, "Oh, Hashem, we're complaining again," right? So we're blessed to see that. Rashi explains this to us, that Hashem's carrying them. But the Jewish people aren't able to see this. And when are they able to see that Hashem is with them? After Kriyat Yam Suf, right? When Hashem splits the sea, they start singing this. We say it every day, right? The song of the sea, Az Yashir, right? Shirat Hayam. This Shabbos is actually called Shabbos Shira, the Shabbos of the song. So what does it say? It says Zek Keli V'Anvehu, right? This is Hashem. I'm gonna glorify Him, right? This is Hashem. This is my God. I'm realizing that He's carrying me, right? The Jewish people, after they saw the splitting of the Red Sea, they finally realized that Hashem is actually carrying us. Now, this is great, right? Again, this is great. They had such a supernatural event that they were able to see that Hashem actually was carrying them through the desert. And it's great that they could see this, right? But today, for us, during times of suffering, anguish, defeat, how are we able to see that Hashem's actually carrying us, right? So for us, we don't have these supernatural events in our everyday life, right, that the Jewish people were able to have. So later on, reading in my siddur, it says that belief in Hashem, Amunah, is something like a heartbeat, right? Sometimes your heart beats regularly, but sometimes it beats very fast. But it doesn't go away, right? Anyway, it doesn't go away, as we're saying. Your heartbeat doesn't go away. So neither does your emunah, right? While you're alive, your emunah never goes away. Even when you're a Jew, even if you say you don't believe in God, right? You still have this little pintel yid. You still have this little spark in you that connects you to Hashem. So for us living today without these supernatural wonders reminding us that Hashem is here, that He's carrying us during our difficulties in life, for us, it's even more commendable, right? It's even more precious for us to realize that Hashem is here today than it was for Bnei Yisrael in the desert to realize that Hashem was carrying them. So I give everyone a bracha that during the difficulties in our life, like we're going through right now with the coronavirus, or 70, 80 years ago during the Holocaust, when we say, where is God, right? It's so much more commendable. If we actually see God, if we're able to do this, it's something that's extremely, extremely powerful. So again, I give us all a bracha that we're able to see this in our daily life, and Shabbat Shalom.